What's up guys, welcome back to Paul's Hardware. This is my monthly deals video, formerly my monthly builds video, but since you can't buy graphics cards, I'm going with the deals. And today I'm going to be focusing on the question of, now that it has been about a week since Intel launched their 12th gen, aka Alder Lake CPUs, has it affected the CPU market at all? Have prices gone up? Have prices gone down? We're going to take a closer look at that, as well as a bunch of other deals for PC parts, except graphics cards of course, but aside from that, there are quite a few bargains out there, so let's get started.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by Corsair's new Xeneon monitor, the 32QHD165, featuring an ultra-slim 32-inch 2560 by 1440 QHD screen with 1 millisecond moving picture response time, a 165 Hz refresh rate fast IPS panel, quantum dot technology, and 100% sRGB, 100% Adobe RGB, and 98% DCI-P3 color gamut coverage for more vivid natural colors, HDR400 support, and convenient features like the integrated multi-mount point for cameras, mics, or lighting built into the stand to round out the package. So for more on Corsair's Xeneon monitor, click the sponsor link in the video description. Before I begin, a quick reminder that although I haven't done a lot of build videos this year, I do have quite a few tutorials out there. Those are still linked in the description if you would like a step-by-step guide on how to build a PC. There's also my builds playlist with lots of different builds I've done, as well as my how to set up a new PC beginner's guide playlist. So all of those are down in the description, but let's dive into the deals, starting with CPU prices. And a reminder also that these are not all necessarily deals. These are parts that I would recommend, and we're going to be looking at prices right now, and then comparing those again in about 2 to 3 weeks, because I'll be coming back with another deals follow-up around Black Friday time. The 5600X, unfortunately, although it does not perform very well against the likes of the new 12600K on the Intel side, the price has gone up. It was actually down around the $270 range in the past month or two, but it's up to $309 on both Intel and Newegg, and that's a little frustrating because honestly, at this price especially, I do not recommend the 5600X anymore if you're building out a new system, and in particular if you're willing to go DDR4 and use a less expensive motherboard, which incidentally I will be covering in my 12600K review video, which is also a little bit delayed, but that's in the works and that will probably be up tomorrow. So the 5600X is a no-go, but the 5800X is becoming a little bit more acceptable, although it's $387-ish on Amazon right now, and it's the same price on Newegg, although Newegg does have some Ryzen deals right now, so you can get like about $12 off. The 5800X also has some steep competition from both the 12600K and the 12700K and KF, but Micro Center, for example, was blowing it out briefly for $300, which makes it a really, really good deal, but that was only up for about a day, then it jumped to $320, and now it's up to $330, and you also need to be able to physically go into a Micro Center, which not everyone is able to do. For this price though, about $20 more than the 5600X, definitely go for the 5800X, and this also makes it a more compelling deal again compared to like the 12600K and 12700K. Now the 5900X is still a 12-core, 24-thread CPU, and this one was selling for $550, its MSRP, or maybe even a little bit more than that, about $560. So this is one that has come down to about $524 at Amazon, and it is again the same price over on Newegg, although they do have an additional $5 off with a promo code right now. So here's where I would say, yes, it looks like there has been at least a little bit of movement in the price since Intel did their launch, and especially if you already have an AM4, like a 400 series or newer motherboard, and you're just looking to upgrade your CPU, this is definitely going to be a better option than the Intel CPUs that are out there. And then the 5950X, the top dog 16-core 32-thread processor, is still the same price. It was $750, maybe $745, and it's still that same price at Amazon and Newegg. $7 off with a promo code at Newegg, so I guess buy it there if you're about to buy one over at Amazon. For AMD, you also have the 5600G and 5700G. Those prices haven't shifted much either. $264 and $277 for the 5600G at Amazon and Newegg. Those are not good prices for that CPU. The MSRP is $260, just FYI. The 5700G is an 8-core, and that's currently going for $330 at Amazon, $330 on Newegg, also with $10 off. And that is a slightly better deal, but again, I'd opt for the 5800X over this if you can get away without needing an iGPU to run off of. That said, if you don't have a graphics card and you need something to game on, the 5600G and 5700G are going to be your best bets for iGPU performance, and that still is the same even with the release of the 12900K and so on. Now the 12900K is the flagship. It was selling for $650, and it is out of stock, so it's not really an option, and honestly, that's not the hugest deal because the 12900K is not the best in terms of power draw. It runs pretty hot. You need some high-end cooling for it. You probably want to pair it with one of the nicer Z690 motherboards that are out there. So definitely don't pay $900 or so for a 12900K, but unfortunately the 12900KF, which doesn't have an iGPU, is also out of stock, and that's also overpriced there. But the 12700K brings the power envelope down a pretty decent amount versus the 12900K, and you still get 8 performance cores with hyper-threading, which is the same amount again as the 12900K. You just get more efficiency cores with the 12900K, 8 on the 12900K versus 4 on the 12700K. So this is selling for $450. You can add it to cart, you can buy it right now. And if the overall platform cost for the 12 series isn't a deterrent for you, you can get a motherboard for around $200 to $250 that supports DDR4, which you can buy for much cheaper than DDR5 right now. The performance is about the same, so if you are buying new right now, I would definitely opt for the 12700K over something like the 5800X or 5900X if gaming performance is your focus, and particularly if you're gaming at like a lower resolution like 1080 with a 240Hz monitor. Amazon has the 12700KF for a few dollars off. It's $441.50. Honestly, between the two of these, I'd pay the extra $8 or $9 for an iGPU. It's just convenient to have there, whether you need quick sync access, or if you just need something that's going to provide you with some troubleshooting support if you're having an issue getting a video signal out of your graphics card, for example. That said, it is $430 at Newegg, which is a few bucks again off. And if you do have a discrete graphics card, then you can save a few dollars there. The 12600K is currently the best bang for the buck in terms of 12th gen CPUs, and that's selling for $320. It is still in stock. You can add it to cart and buy it right now at Newegg or at Amazon. They're both the same price. They're both available. So on the plus side, because not a lot of these CPUs have been selling, or they haven't been flying off the shelves like normally, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there are no graphics cards to buy along with them to build a new system. But it does mean you have stock, they're available, and the prices haven't jumped up crazy amounts unless you're looking at that 12900K flagship, of course. 12600KF would be the cheapest of the new 12th gen CPUs that are currently out. That also is difficult to find though, out of stock at Newegg, and I couldn't even find the listing at Amazon. And here's a quick look at a Z690 motherboard. This is the ROG Maximus Z690 Hero, which is a $600 motherboard. I've worked with this board. It's a really nice board. It's also $600, which is pretty absurd. So if we're looking at LGA 1700 motherboards on Newegg and we sort them by lowest price, you will find the cheapest one available is the $200 Gigabyte Z690 UD DDR4. I have this board. I've been testing this board. My 12600K review is going to include benchmarks with this motherboard, so click that subscribe button if you're not already. And I am happy to say that the performance with it has been totally fine, so you don't need to spend $400 or $500 plus for a Z690 motherboard. There's lots of options down in the $200 to $300 range. Of course, you're going to want to double check if it's got the features that you want, like M.2 slots and everything. But I think for most people who are building a gaming system, this has pretty much all you need. And like I said, my experience with it has been quite good. If you are still on the hunt for a bargain CPU, you can still get the 10400 for about $165 over on Best Buy. Pair that up with a less expensive 500 series motherboard and you will save some money. This also provides you with a very good solution for gaming if you pair it with a discrete graphics card, and it's also a price that AMD can't really touch right now because their 5600X is over $300. The 10400F likewise is $160 over on Adorama still. That's one that I covered in previous month. 10400F is $173 on Newegg. All good options for more entry-level CPUs for gaming. Just bear in mind you are buying into a kind of a dead platform, so you won't have too many upgrade options beyond that. Okay, we're done with CPUs, so I'm going to run down the rest of my list. Some of these are carryovers from last month that are still good deals and good prices, and some of them are new. The EVGA 120mm AIO, selling for $40, is still selling for $40. So if you're looking to upgrade from stock cooling and you're looking at, $30 to $50 air coolers, this liquid cooler will outperform those. And you can also get an LGA 1700 mounting bracket by contacting EVGA and they'll send that over to you. I'm still showing the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2, the 240 and 280 here. The 240 is about $90. The 280 is about $110. And these aren't crazy deals or anything like that. It's just a solid all-in-one liquid cooler and something you should be comparing others to if you're in the market for something like this, because this is going to get you pretty much the maximum amount of performance that you can when paired with a radiator of this size without necessarily spending $150 plus. Likewise, if you're just looking for an air cooler upgrade to a stock cooler, I'm still recommending the Pure Rock Slim 2 from Be Quiet. It's available for about $26 over on Newegg. Don't pay too much more than that because it starts to conflict with better coolers. But this one can handle up to 130 watt TDP CPUs, has a nice little gentle, quiet 92mm fan on there, and my experience with it was quite positive. Let's look at some motherboards. You can get an X570, solid X570 motherboard for about $160 with the MPG X570 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi from MSI. It even has Wi-Fi. For B550, you can get a solid B550 board for about $110. You can go up to $120 or $130 for something like the MSI B550 Tomahawk, which is a solid choice in this range. If you're okay with micro ATX though, consider this board. It has some nice little features like a USB 3.2 Gen 2 front panel header, 4 DIMM slots instead of 2 like some budget motherboards have, only $110. So pairing this with something like a $300 and $330 5800X would be a pretty solid amount. It would be a lot of power for a relatively less amount of money. For Intel boards, you can get a Z690 motherboard, a solid MSI option here, also for about $160. Another good choice. And just something to compare, if you're looking at motherboards that are $250, $300, how much more do you get with those boards versus something like this? The answer usually is not too much. Likewise, here's an Asus Z590, the Z590-P for just a few dollars more, $168. This is a full-size ATX motherboard. And again, not a lot of bells and whistles here, but it's got all the base functions you'd need to put together a solid computer. If you're looking for B460, if you're going with a non-K, non-overclockable CPU from Intel, you can consider B460. And these can be a little bit more competitive price-wise with the AMD B550 motherboards. Just bear in mind with B460, you can't overclock your memory, so that kind of sucks. You would need a B560 motherboard for that. Speaking of memory, here's a really nice kit of Corsair Vengeance. It's a 32 gig kit, so 2 by 16 gigs, DDR4 3600, so that's a great speed in general, but also very suitable for pairing with an AMD platform, whether you're looking at the 5000 series or the 3000 series. CL18, so there are tighter timings than this, but $110 after you use this $10 off promo code is a really solid price for that. Compare that to this kit, which is the same capacity, 2 by 16 gig, 32 gigs total, also DDR4 3600. This one has slightly tighter CL16 timings, 16, 19, 19, 39. This is the kit I have been using for all of my benchmarking, so it's really fast and a great pairing for either an AMD or an Intel platform. It is $154 though, so that is why this $110 kit that's just a few ticks slower on the CAS latency. If you're on an entry-level RAM kit, the Silicon Power DDR4 3200 speed kit, which is still CAS latency 16, 16, 18, 18, 38, is only $51 over on Amazon, so that's just a solid budget entry-level setup, and it's still 16 gigs, so you can totally game on that. And again, just for comparison, this is kind of a middle-of-the-road Crucial Ballistics 3600, CAS latency 16, so many of the same stats on this kit, and it's $85. This one you can get in like black or white or red, although the black is a little overpriced. So this is a good kit from Crucial, but again, just shows what a bargain this Silicon Power kit is. Moving on to SSDs, we have a really nice deal right here, and I hope this sticks around for a little bit. This is a Kingston 2TB M.2 2280 SSD. It's PCIe Gen 3, and it's not like the fastest Gen 3 drive, 2100, 1700 megabytes per second for reads and writes. But look at this price. You have to click add to cart. It's $145. That's a better price than like any SATA 2TB SSD right now, so jump on that while it's available. That's over at Adorama. A few more carryovers from last month. This Crucial P2 1TB drive is only $84. This goes up to 2400 megabytes per second. Do bear in mind that Crucial made some under the hood changes to the P2 drives, so the performance isn't quite as good as some of the initial reviews of the Crucial P2, but the price has come down, so that makes it still a compelling deal, even though for sustained work, sustained read and write. If you need a drive that you're going to work with a lot, like if you're doing a lot of video editing or something like that, the P2 is probably not going to be the drive. But for a gaming drive or something along those lines, or just a basic operating system drive, it'll still work just fine. The 500 gig version is also only $45. A good comparison to those Crucial drives is a Team MP33. 1TB is only $83 right now. Again, these aren't going to give you peak PCIe 3.0 performance with about 1800 megabytes per second reads and 1500 megabytes per second writes, but still a big jump up over a standard SATA SSD. And again, you can get the lower capacity 512 gig version of that for $47. Here's a big fatty Crucial MX500, another carryover from last month. This is a 2TB SATA drive, which I was like, wow, really good price for $174, unless you compare it to that Adorama deal for the Kingston drive that I showed you first. Because again, this is a SATA drive, so it's going to have SATA read and write speeds. But if you don't have an M.2 slot open, or you just can't snag that Adorama deal, this is the best price per gigabyte other than that one for an SSD that I have. Unless you maybe count the Samsung 870 QVO, which is a 4TB drive. I haven't done the math on that, but $345. A lot of money for a storage drive, but it's 4 terabytes, and a 4 terabyte SSD is a beautiful thing. Rounding things out, we have some cases. The Fractal Design Focus G is still $55. Solid ATX case. It has a plexi side panel rather than tempered glass. Other than that, I have no qualms about recommending it. The NZXT H510 is one that I just always show for some reason, because like I said, it's kind of my middle of the road. $73 for the H510 for a very nice, well-designed case. Not the best case in the world, but a solid case overall and one that I would happily recommend. And now we're moving to power supplies. Some really solid, what I really like about the power supplies is that they've come down in price for like the more reasonable 500-ish watt units. So we can get a 500 watt EVGA 80 plus bronze for 45 bucks. For $6 more than that, we can upgrade to a semi-modular unit in the 500 BQ, still 80 plus bronze, still 500 watts. If you want to plan ahead for a higher wattage graphics card, because that's what I usually say when you're looking at how many watts you should get for your power supply, look at what graphics card you're planning to use and what's recommended there. 650 watts can handle most stuff up to like an RTX 3070. This one is also semi-modular and it's only $60. And then if you need a 750 watt unit, if you have your sights set on something like an RTX 3080 for only about $67, we have this Silverstone unit, also 80 plus bronze. Not modular here, but it's got these nice flat black cables, so it's a good unit. Silverstone makes good power supplies. And I've got some monitor deals, and these were actually kind of standouts. If you're looking for a higher refresh rate 1440 monitor, there's some really good options right now. This is a Scepter 27-inch. It's IPS, it's HDR 400 rated, it's 144 Hertz with FreeSync Premium. It's $222.25. That's a good deal. Oh, look, they even have the 32-inch version of this for $280. I didn't even notice that, but pick your poison. Here's also, for a couple bucks less than that, a ViewSonic monitor, also 27-inch, also 1440. This one has a 1 millisecond response time. Still has 144 Hertz with AMD FreeSync and LED backlighting, $220, but this sale ends soon. It should still be available by the time you see this video, but it is ending soon. And then here's a Gigabyte unit. This one is a few dollars more at $320, but it is a higher refresh rate, 170 Hertz versus 144. Beyond that, FreeSync, 27-inch, 1440, a lot of the same specs like IPS. So there are some monitor options for you, and should I even look at graphics cards today? No, I don't think I should. 3070 Ti for around $1,300. You know what it looks like for entry-level graphics card, although this is still stupid overpriced, but 6600 XT for about a little less than $700. And of course you gotta buy it from some like scandalous third-party seller on Amazon. So never mind, don't buy graphics cards, they still suck. But that is gonna wrap it up for my deals video for November. And again, I'm gonna come back to this probably on Black Friday so I can compare some of these prices to the prices then and see if they got better or worse or anything like that. Links to all these products are down in the video description, so check that out if you're interested in any of these deals. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out if you enjoyed this video. And again, don't forget to subscribe because I've got the 12600K review coming at you really soon, which is turning out very interesting for me. I'm focusing it more on the overall platform price than just the individual CPU price, and it's revealed some curious results. That's all for this one though, guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.